IVM.
Hello one, hello all, welcome to the Traveling Professor's Diary, and I'm the Traveling Professor, Siddharth Deshmukh. It's been such a pleasure and honor to work with somebody and to actually associate with somebody, even if it may be for a very short period of time. And that somebody is Dr. Jagdish Sheth, who recently received the Padma Shri for his work in the field of marketing and management. And while Dr. Sheth lives in the US, I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to interact with him a few times. I know that he may not remember me, but I do remember every single instance that I've met him. And hence, my latest diary entry is a tribute to a marketing Padma Shri, Dr. Jagdish Sheth. When I first met Dr. Jagdish Sheth, it was at MICA when I was an associate dean. And it was such an incredible feeling to meet somebody who's, quoted in marketing, and his work is quoted in marketing. And he came across as such a humble, sincere person that it just took my breath away. It was one of those moments when I realized that the higher you reach in management and your field, and even in academia, the better off you would be if you follow an attitude like Dr. Sheth's. He has single-handedly built a wonderful network of co-conspirators and collaborators all across the world by just being himself, a very nice, humble person who's always looking out to provide value to whoever he is interacting with. And I think that what I took away from that meeting was, as he was busy trying to help me start and do my PhD, was to just admire the way in which he used to use the principle of giving value first to the other person before doing anything else. And that was such an amazing, amazing insight. And that led me to actually maybe do this podcast, or maybe even do some of the videos that I do, or maybe even look at the way in which I interact with students and everybody else. My whole attempt would be to give value first and not continuously seek out something or the other from a relationship in a very transactional manner. So thank you, Dr. Sheth. The second insight was when a group of us had gone to the US to visit a lot of universities a couple of years back. And that's when we met Dr. Sheth in Atlanta. My second interaction with him, along with this wonderful group of academics, was when he took all of us out for a very desi meal in Atlanta. And it was then when we met his wonderful wife and him, and we just had the funnest possible time. And I recognized that he was such an observant person. He was just looking all around him, not self-centered at all, but learning from each and every interaction and conversation that he was having. That, I think, allowed him and allows him a scope of vision that escapes most people. A lot of times, whenever we are having a conversation with anybody else, we are focused on the kind of response that we would be trying to give so as to impress the other person. But what I noticed with Dr. Sheth was he was not having any of that. He was aggressively listening to the other person and trying to understand something that, nobody else on the table could be looking at. That, again, was a wonderful insight for somebody who was entering into academics from the cutthroat world of industry. It was just to aggressively listen rather than aggressively speak. So that was my second interaction. My third interaction was when he'd invited us in the same trip, to visit his college. And while he was introducing us, we also had the pleasure of him kind of coordinating and topping and tailing a lecture, which was done by an alumni of his who used to work for Coke, which is headquartered in Atlanta. At that point in time, I realized what a wonderful command over language and what wonderful presence he had in class. at the very young age that he is at right now. And that's when I made a resolution to myself that I would really love to be at least half of what he was doing with his energy, vigor, and vitality at that point in time. I mean, come on, the man actually writes papers which are seminal. He still takes classroom lectures. He is the way he is. He has a wonderful network. He's completely sharp-witted, and he does philanthropic activities. He is probably going to work throughout his life, and that's the way in which I would like to go to, right? And that was the third interaction with him, which actually helped me understand one key thing. It is extremely important to take care of yourself and your health and your energy and your vitality. These three learnings from Dr. Sheth helped me be who the academic I am today in such a short span of time. Now, as I look at, his latest paper or the rest of his work, I'm just amazed at his thought process, his clarity of thinking, and just his wonderful insights into the world of management and marketing. What I'm really surprised about is how not too many people have discovered his YouTube videos wherein he is actually sharing his gyan to the rest of the world. And I would recommend anyone of you who is interested in marketing and management to look out for these YouTube videos. Yes, it's a shameless plug, but it's for him. And I think it's an amazing, amazing thing to do, right? Because you will take away much more than any other marketing professor that you might meet. Well, this is my little tribute to Dr. Sheth. Thank you, sir. It was and it is and it shall be a pleasure to know you. And I just hope that I learn much more from you as the days go by. Well, if you like this podcast entry of mine, there's many more to come. And they will be about various topics. This was a particularly special one. If you like this podcast, there are many more podcasts like this on ivmpodcast.com or just download the app. Until next time then, see you soon.
I hope you enjoyed that show. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. It really has been a great week this week. We've had two of our first international cricketers show up, people who have played for their respective sides. We had W.V. Raman come on Edges and Sledges, the cricket podcast. If you haven't heard that, you should be listening to that if you enjoy cricket. It's really one of the best out there. And you should also definitely check out Monty Pandesar, who showed up on Cyrus Says. That was another really interesting conversation that occurred. If you haven't been listening to a few of our shorter shows, please do that as well. Ashish Vidyarthi has been doing a great job for us. We got 30 episodes now on Begin the Journey. I think you really enjoyed that show. If you haven't listened to it, it helps you with understanding what's going on in this tough time and how do you deal with it from a mental health perspective. We've also had some really fun stuff come up on the Smile India show. Shifa's been doing a lot of really good stories over there, things that just make you happy, so definitely do check that out. And on the more serious side, make sure that you're checking out our regular shows like the Pragati podcast, All Things Policy. They're definitely going to keep you up to date on what's going on in this COVID world. And thanks for listening, and we hope to catch you again next week.
Namaskar, dear Bandhu. My name is Ashish Vidyarthi. These are truly challenging times, and in these times, we need hope. Do take time to listen to my podcast, Begin the Journey. Available on IVM Podcasts, website, app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, there is hope because there's one life and we are alive.